I have two other questions. One is, could you speak a little bit more to the mobility component? So does that mean they're hooked into the smartphone and that they get the same rights, if you will, the same features that they might on a handset?
Yeah, and it's actually not unique to a cloud-based versus a premises-based offering. We have that capability either way. If folks want to have a premises-based system, we have mobility, some really good mobility features. It literally turns your smartphone into an extension off the PBX, and that could be a hosted PBX or it could be a premises-based. The key is making sure that the customer experience is very consistent and it's very solid. That they don't have drop calls, they don't have the problems of I can't dial out or I can't dial certain numbers or those kinds of things. Because you're really compounded even more because now that person having the problem's not even at the office. I mean, they're in the airport in Atlanta having problems or something. So that's it's something you really have to look at on the front end. How well are we going to be able to manage this environment?
Okay.
But
actually, I lied.
Go ahead.
I have two more questions.
Okay. You do that all the time. Okay.
I know. I just have so many questions. When you look at what people are trying to do with IP telephony, there's usually an application component, a call center, some kind of customer relationship management system that people want to hook into. So does it make a difference if it's on-premise versus hosted? When you're trying to do an application like that, is there other advantages or disadvantages of going to a service-based approach for that?
It really shouldn't make a difference. If the hosted provider has taken the appropriate measures to provide redundancy and reliability, to make sure that, for example, if a server goes down that's hosting the CRM, it's also hosted in the cloud, obviously, that you have seamless processing that goes to another server or to another process, and the person actually handling the calls doesn't really see that. And that's the same actually on premise too. If you have a premise-based system, it's important that those levels of redundancy be designed in there. Otherwise, what usually will happen is that the most pain point is going to be whatever part of that company is generating revenue. So a lot of times that's a call center. Mm-hmm. And so I'll see folks, we don't care if accounts payable's down because they're just writing checks to people. We want the people that are writing checks to us to be served. So let's keep the call center running. And so that's important. And definitely for years, call centers were one of the first IP outsourced implementations to be done. And I think that was because of the nature of it, where you have multiple servers involved, that really lends itself to having that in a data center environment as opposed to a prem, customer prem where power and air conditioning and so on, maybe not as well engineered as they would be in a data center.
Okay. So. I'm sure that when many people think of IP telephony in the cloud, they probably think of Skype, right? It's kind of the ultimate. Yeah. So how, why would we
have overcome that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So how is it different from or better than or not quite as the same as Skype? Let's talk about how it's managed and security and so forth. How is it different from that?
The thing to keep in mind, even though the technology is the same, and that's why I rarely use the term VoIP or VoIP, because that really is a technology. It's not a system. It's a technology. It's a way to do things. And you're packetizing voice and putting it in an IP packet and shipping it around. That's really what VoIP is. The thing is, Skype is really was designed as a consumer VoIP methodology to lower your cost of calling. And it's dramatically lower, obviously, going internationally. But even within the U.S., it's really flat rated and it's so on. Yeah. And it utilizes some great technology. The calls are okay. They're not crystal clear, typically. They're not as clear as a well-engineered internal to a company voice system is. The other thing is, just in terms of feature sets, it's growing all the time with Skype and with the other competitors to Skype, but it's not a PBX. It is a point-to-point calling system. So it's great when you need to call your parents in Texas if you're in New Jersey, or New Jersey if you're in Texas. That's great to go back and forth with, and you know, if it gets a little scratchy, I can still recognize grandma on the phone or whatever. In business, usually the bar is set higher, and you need more features in business. You need conference calling. I need recording features. I need audit trails. You know, I need to know how many calls came into this extension, how long the calls were, and if were any dropped. And then, you know, same thing on outbound. And so there's a lot of detail and everything that a phone system gives you that Skype doesn't.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, they're using the same technology. It's still
Mm-hmm.
VoIP. The other thing is that Skype is largely across the Big I internet. So you're subject to whatever the variances of the internet are. Whereas a lot of times, VoIP systems for corporations are on a private IP network. So your end-to-end quality of service is more guaranteed than the Big I internet.
That's great information. When I was writing for Entrepreneur Magazine, I found hundreds of entrepreneurs that were using Skype as I mean, it was phenomenal. But as they grow, those are the considerations that they would need to consider for, you know, a more robust, more secure, more auditable phone system, if you will.
I use Skype every day on the iPad.
Yep.
Okay, so it works great. It works super.
Apple commercial, product placement.
Yeah, really?
So.
Well, I carefully hid it inside this. It looks like a generic tablet, you know. But so
Samsung and Toshiba and Motorola will all be very happy you said that. So, Dave, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate your insight on this topic, and thank you. Thank you for viewing another episode of Best in UC TV. Until we meet again, I'm Heather Clancy.